ice shelf at Antarctica's Doomsday Glacier won't last 5 years, scientists warn. This is by Morgan McFall Johnson, Business Insider on Science Alert. Let's remember that recently, from the 47 volcanoes that Antarctica was found to have, another 100 have been found. Now, a crucial ice shelf on Antarctica's Thwaites Glacier is on track to collapse within 5 years, accelerating the melting of the notorious Doomsday Glacier. Thwaites Glacier, which is the size of Florida, is already melting quickly, losing about 50 billion tons of ice every single year. The glacier earned its grim nickname because its total collapse would raise global sea levels by about 2 feet and expose other Antarctic glaciers to the same melt process. 2 feet just from this ice glacier. Now, while scientists don't expect that catastrophe for at least 200 years, ice melt from Thwaites currently fuels about 4% of annual sea level rise. Rising ocean levels can cause flooding in coastal areas, as we know, that are home to millions of people and many of the world's largest cities, damaging property and infrastructure, leading to more catastrophic storms. For now, Thwaites' eastern region is somewhat stable, melting more slowly than the rest of the glacier. That's because an ice shelf, a floating extension of the glacier propped up on an underwater mountain, shields it from warm ocean waters and holds the glacier in place. Quote, as it's structured right now, the ice shelf acts like a dam, but it's not going to be for very long, and quote, this is what Aaron Petit, glaciologist at Oregon State University, said in a press briefing at the meeting of the American Geophysical Union on Monday. Cracks are spiderwebbing across the protective eastern ice shelf, which is likely to disintegrate into hundreds of icebergs within the next 5 years. Petit said, like the shattering of your car's window. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. Once this happens, a wider stretch of ice from the landlocked Thwaites Glacier will be floating into the ocean, melting into water, calving away from cliffs, and breaking off as icebergs. Thwaites is changing rapidly and getting more dangerous. It's unsettling to see new satellite images of the eastern ice shelf each week, Petit said. And she says, each new satellite image we get, we see deeper and longer fractures. Petit and her team are monitoring the ice shelf as part of the International Thwaites Glacier Collaboration, ITGC, a team of nearly 100 scientists. The U.S. National Science Foundation and UK Natural Environment Research Council have deemed Thwaites so important to immediate sea level rise that they gave the collaboration $25 million to study the glacier over 5 years. As they near the midpoint of their 5-year project, the ITGC scientists' data reveal a glacier growing increasingly volatile. Quote, there's going to be a dramatic change in the front of the glacier, probably within less than a decade, unquote. Ted Scambos, senior research scientist leading Petit's team, who called in from Antarctica's McMurdo station, said during the briefing. He said, it may still take a few decades before some of the other processes that accelerate the ice flow and the retreat take hold. It will, though, accelerate the pace and effectively widen the dangerous part of the glacier. If the ice shelf doesn't shatter, it will come unmoored. As the critical eastern shelf, the ice shelf fractures, warming ocean waters are melting it from below. The diminishing ice is slowly pulling away from the underwater mountain that props it up against the Thwaites Glacier. Within a decade, Petit said, the ice will completely lose its grip on the undersea mountain. Her team thinks the fracturing will completely shatter the ice shelf before that, but it's hard to be sure. Either way, once the ice shelf collapses, the new exposure to warm ocean waters could triple the speed of ice loss in the eastern third of Thwaites. That will send new volumes of water and ice pouring into the ocean each year, growing Antarctica's contribution to rising seas. The researchers are not sure how quickly that acceleration will happen. It could take decades, or it could take centuries, Petit said. It's daunting, it's a bit unsettling, especially standing on the ice and looking into the ice sheet and seeing that this huge area from one side of the horizon to the other is moving at you at about a mile every year, Scambo said. All by itself, this one glacier is big enough to impact sea level significantly. As we said, 2 feet rise. This was originally on Business Insider's on Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.